It's WWE Clash in Paris. Does Roman Reigns get his shoes back? Find out. Let's start the episode.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Hey, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hey guys, it's me, Streak Matt, with the Mark It Down podcast. We're reviewing Clash in Paris, whatever it is. The PLE we just had with WWE. And we'll start off the show with a banger. It is Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. I hope there's not an echo. I'm in a different spot in my basement today. Anyway, that's the match that starts off the show. And it's pretty slow and methodical, but they really took advantage of this very, very lively crowd, and they were eating up every second of it. So while I would have liked something a little more fast-paced, it was still enjoyable. I think both of these guys worked really well together. Would definitely like to see them work again. Let's see, any big standouts? Okay, so at one point, Roman went for a Superman punch. He misses. Bronson Reed hits a Uranagi and then a backsplash into kind of like a pinning combo, and all of that was like super fluid. That was great. Later on, Bronson goes for a Samoan drop, but Roman counters it into a pin. That was really cool. And then this was the start of it. We had this happen a lot tonight. There are a lot of people using other people's moves, and I'm not saying like the opponents using their moves. I'm just saying random. So the first one was Bronson Reed hit a attitude adjustment. They called it a Death Valley driver. You know, it's got multiple names. So he did do that. That surprised me. What else? Bronson Reed also hit a World's Strongest Slam. They did name that the way they named it. So this is a good back and forth. Again, they were really, the crowd was eating it up, and they were getting really lively with the crowd. So that was fun. Ultimately, Bronson Reed lost. Roman hit him with one spear, got the 1, 2, 3, picked up the victory. And what I liked about this match is he said it wasn't about shoes. Like, you know, he's here to win like championships, you know, even though we all kind of wanted him to get the shoes back. Bronson Reed is like on the ground in the corner of the mat. Paul Heyman is watching him, like consoling him after this tough loss. Roman Reigns, who's kind of celebrating out in the crowd, you know, he's on the announce table. He goes back to the ring, confronts Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman pleads for his life, essentially. I love you, my tribal chief, you know, all that jazz. Roman Reigns hits him with the guillotine, which was cool. I'm not a huge fan of the guillotine, but he didn't use it in this match. So this was a fun way to include that move that he has used in the past. And I feel like I haven't seen him use much lately. Like I said, not a huge fan of it as far as submissions go, and for him or in general, but this was a great spot. You know, you can put Paul in a guillotine. It looks like he's getting hurt, but you don't have to worry about Paul's health. Like, he can handle it. Roman gets the shoes back. And I was kind of divisive on this, and you see it in the title of today's show. It's Seth Prevails. We'll get to that later. The Shoelafala is lost. Roman takes the shoes. He tosses a couple out into the crowd. So again, he kind of lived up to his word that it wasn't about the shoes. It's like about championships and obviously the respect. You know, Roman can always get new shoes. It's not a problem. It's the fact this guy's beating him up, stolen his shoes, and is wearing his shoes as like, you know, a trophy. That doesn't sit right with Roman. Roman goes to sign the other shoes. I don't know if he signed the first one. I wasn't paying that much attention at that point, but he goes to sign the other two shoes to throw into the crowd. And Braun Breaker comes and he launches himself across one announce table to the other and spears Roman Reigns. Sorry, first yawn of the night. Hopefully I don't keep yawning. Don't want to put any of you to sleep because so far so good with this show. It's exciting. He spears Roman through the table. They've now gone through the American announce table, not the Spanish, not the French, the American. So that happens. They're beating down Roman. They walk away. Braun Breaker runs back. He hits another spear. At this point, they put Roman like on a stretcher. He gets tsunamied by Bronson Reed, who really sold that single spear. Like, he was out for a while. Not only did he not kick out of the single spear, but he was down and out for a while for Roman to beat up Paul Heyman. Grab the shoe, second yard of the day. You kidding me? Oh man. And Braun Breaker to destroy him with the first spear. So he hits a tsunami. Roman ends up in a stretcher, like the plank, the board. Tsunamis him again. Jey Uso comes out to save him. He makes the save, but then he gets speared by Braun Breaker himself. And finally, Bronson Reed hits a third tsunami. And it's all about like Roman being really injured. And they say he's going to the hospital, not a medical facility. They say hospital. They said that a few times. So that was interesting that terminology seems to have changed. Maybe that's something with ESPN. I don't know. Maybe Netflix. Who knows? But it's always been the thing. You know, if you're a big WWE fan, you know, there's certain terminology they use on television. And one is they never say anyone's gone to the hospital. They always say local medical facility. But that changed tonight. I like this match. I think it was right for Roman to win. I think the only way Roman loses this if there was a big interference, like Braun Breaker interfering during the match, not after. I think with Roman going to be out for a bit, which is a shame because, again, he doesn't really wrestle much. You know, putting him out in an injury angle is kind of annoying, and that was yawn number 3. I apologize. I don't love that, but this was a solid match. The crowd was really into it, and it was deserving of that. And just one of the longest opening matches I've ever seen, as far as like from bell to bell, plus the shenanigans after the match. It was pretty thorough, like pretty long. So that kind of impressed me. And the only thing that bums me out is that we're not doing the Shoelafala anymore. That bums me out. I liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was interesting. People were talking about it. People were making memes. It was funny, enjoyable. I dug it. I wanted to see more of it. Like, it'd be funny if just Bronson Reed starts stealing everybody's shoes or something. I don't know. I think there were more ideas. There was more potential there. I get maybe they wanted to cut it short and make it more like a serious tone with this beatdown. Maybe they don't want to let it go on for too long and end up dragging and, you know, flanderizing it, or just it wasn't as well received as it once was. Maybe that's why they cut this short. But I think they cut it short. I would have liked it to have gone a little longer. Going into this match, I thought Roman Reigns is going to win. It's going to have a beatdown afterwards. I don't think as severe as what they did. I didn't think Jey was going to get involved, but I definitely thought Bronson was going to walk away with a third pair of shoes. That didn't happen. We'll see where it goes from here, but it was a good way to start off the night. And like I said, this crowd was great. They had the Roman Reigns chant. I think Paul could have gotten on the mic again, like he did on Raw, and done like Bronson Reed. Like, that would have been funny. Not a big deal that they didn't. Again, they already did that on Monday, so they might want to not beat a dead horse. And not only the commentary is fun. We'll get to that later. Before this match even started, when Wade Barrett was introducing the French team, he introduced them in French, like he did a really good job. And afterwards, Cole was like, "I thought you could only speak French when you were drunk." And Wade Barrett barks back, "Perhaps I'm drunk right now, Michael Cole." And Michael Cole, which made me laugh so hard. And Michael Cole saved it, you know, for the kids and the sponsors. And he says, "Well, I'm drunk on this atmosphere." So way to bring it home, Michael Cole. I thought that was a fun little back and forth with just, you know, some things that, you know, like this, again, the sponsors might get mad, but Michael Cole kind of saves it. And we can just keep moving on, keep moving forward. And I got a good chuckle out of it. So thank you, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, for that back and forth, only in France. Let's see. We next have the tag team title match, the Wyatt Six with Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis of the Wyatt Six defending the WWE Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits. It was a fine match, like, nothing outstanding, but nothing bad either. I'm not sure if this really belonged on a pay-per-view, but we've had plenty of complaints, and I haven't disagreed with the complaints that we haven't had like black talents on a lot of PLEs. My main complaint is that a lot of times they were not having the tag titles, either of them, on the PLEs. But this is 2 in a row for the WWE Tag Team Championships. So Raw, you guys got to get on track, man. The Judgment Day, which is arguably the most popular group in WWE. Oh, come on. I had it perfectly fine, and now it's like messing up. Okay. The Judgment Day, one of the most popular current factions in WWE, even if their booking is kind of 50-50, they're the tag team champions on Raw. And like, they haven't ever defended them on a PLE. I don't think those titles have been defended since WrestleMania. So impressed with the SmackDown tag teams. Raw, you guys got to pick it up. So we'll see what happens. We can't just have the New Day, in mourning. If you haven't checked out my interview with the New Day, definitely check it out after this video. It's on our YouTube channel here. It's a 5-minute interview of them roasting me and me holding my own. And you'll be the ones to decide whether how well I did. So again, this match was fine. It was interesting. I think it felt like they were more focused on Borderlands 4 than this match. So it starts up with the Street Profits coming out in sorry, my food's here. And like, I was trying to eat before this, and then after this, it's just like my blood sugar, I need to eat it now. So we're gonna eat and pot at the same time. I'm sure this will go great. We'll see. So the Street Profits come out in pretty cool looking Borderlands 4 gear, and they advertise Borderlands 4 like on commentary. They talk about it, and they're like, oh, the whites dress up in masks, and maybe this is a good way of them of combating that, fighting fire with fire. And I'm like, that's a decent enough analogy, storyline to go with. But personally, what I would have done is I would have had them post pictures like in the back with those masks and those costumes on, and put it on Instagram, on the WWE page, on the Street Profits individual pages, like a couple hours before the show, because I'm sure not everyone is that familiar with Borderlands. So I'm sure there was definitely like a disconnect with some of the audience. But again, a lot more people are on social media than play Borderlands. They see that, they read the description, you get the idea. Like, I think the New Day did this with not Metal Gear Solid, Gears of War many years ago. So I kind of the same thing. Not a big deal. Didn't affect the match. But the Wyatt Six ended up winning the match, and it felt like they stopped their celebration so that they could do an advertisement. They actually had a trailer for Borderlands 4, and I kind of rolled my eyes at that. So this match was fine. Not kind of insignificant, but the Street Profits, they were entitled to a rematch, and they actually earned, on top of that, they earned a rematch on SmackDown. So they gave them a PLE match. Can't complain about that. Good for them, even if they didn't win. And the Wyatt Six, who also haven't been on pay-per-view much, PLE, sorry. This is another opportunity for them. And I think they did their job. Like, were they outstanding? No, but I wouldn't hold this against them at all. It was just like, hey, we lined you up to do this. You did it. Everything went well. It went solid. Good job. Keep up the good work. Then we get to the match that was definitely the dud of the night. It was Becky Lynch defending the Intercontinental Championship against Nikki Bella. Nikki looked great. She's in great shape. She doesn't look like she's missed a day in the gym since the last time she was in the ring. You wouldn't guess that she's a mom. So looking better than ever. Props to Nikki Bella, but this match was not great. It was actually kind of goofy. It felt almost like a Divas match. They even talked about that, like she's from the Divas era, like even 10 years ago, the amount of talent has propelled and skyrocketed to another level than it was when Bella was like on top. There was a lot of like, like hits where like Becky was like going like, and like she was doing propeller arms. And then one point, Nikki was bashing her head against the announce table, pretty standard, the basketball bounce, but she was doing it from one table to the other. And it's just, again, goofy. And then she did it up against the post, very goofy looking. The only really good part was she hit a Bella Buster on the stairs. So that was cool. And then she went in and she hit the manhandle slam on Becky, trying to beat her with her own move, as well as the disarmer. Didn't work out. Becky was able to do that cool, nifty pin move she did on Bayley in the triple threat a couple months ago. And they're now calling that move the Lynch pin. So Becky Lynch pin. So I like that. That was cool. It also it's cool that she has another move in her repertoire that's like, it looks solid and it's just a pin in combination. In AEW, like Wheeler Yuta uses the seatbelt pin. That's like, I think it's more impressive than that. And I like the seatbelt pin, Wheeler Yuta. And also shout out to Chuck Taylor, who taught him that move. Met Chuck Taylor a few weeks ago at the what was it? The Naked Gun premiere. Nice guy. So yeah, this match kind of stunk. I understand, they want to. The Lynch pin is a good way of protecting Nikki. So like, good for her. And she's on a PLE. Good for her. And again, she. I don't know. It didn't feel very creative. And again, there just seems to be a lot of stealing moves tonight. And this was the match where the person was stealing the other person's move, which is like a Attitude Era trope. I forgot to mention in the tag match that Angelo Dawkins did what did he do? He did a swanton, which is definitely unlike him. So shout out to Jeff Hardy. A couple swantons tonight. That was the first one. But yeah, let's move on from this Bella match, which stunk. I definitely would have liked to have seen the world title match, the women's world title match instead. That would have been better, in my opinion. But what are you going to do? I guess they weren't ready to do that, which I understand. It's tough with Naomi being out. Maybe they're not ready to figure out what they're doing there. But regardless, they didn't have that match tonight. So what else we got? They did the replay of Roman Reigns getting beat down, but they did it with the French commentary, and it was fantastic. Didn't understand what they were saying half the time, but then they'd be like, Braun Breaker, roof, 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 like rough bark. It was so funny. I laughed. And just like, no, like everything in French was fantastic. They were very passionate, but also some of their lines were goofy, which is great. That's what wrestling is about. Like, you got signs, you've got the serious moments, the tension, the comedy, the romance, you put it all together, and that's what pro wrestling is. So I thought that was great that they showed the replay, but with the French commentary team, as opposed to what we already saw with Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. So kudos to them for doing that. I wouldn't mind if they did that more often, even if they're not in another country. They just do it with the announce team, like the Spanish announce team. The Sheamus and Rusev had a really gnarly Donnybrook match, good old fashioned Donnybrook. I wasn't really expecting much of this. I will say they delivered, and I think they definitely helped get this show back on track. And the crowd got really into it too. Like, I could tell that the crowd kind of dulled after Becky and Nikki, but they came back for Rusev and Sheamus. Rusev hit a lariat while Sheamus was holding a chair, smacked him right in the head. That was great. They had a fight over the chair. And what happened? A Machka kick to the chair. It's like they did so many cool spots. Best was they were on some barrels, some whiskey barrels, and Rusev got Sheamus into the acolyte up there, but then Sheamus was able to get out of it, get up, and he put Rusev and him through 2 tables with the white noise. That was a ton of fun. A few more spots happened, all great, worth watching, I would say, but I'm just going to keep moving on. It ended with Rusev putting him in another acolyte in the middle of the ring, but this time with the broken shillelagh around Sheamus's mouth, and then he went backwards like the super acolyte that he does sometimes. And very notably, Sheamus tapped out. He did not pass out, and Michael Cole was very adamant about pointing that out. He said this is only the second time Sheamus has tapped out in his WWE career. I imagine the first time was probably John Cena at some point. But I remember, I'll take you back. It was 2014. I was at Monday Night Raw in, might have been Albany or Rochester. Regardless, Sheamus won the U.S. title in a battle royal that night. Dean Ambrose got eliminated. Sheamus was the last man standing. He won the title. He would eventually lose to Rusev when that was Rusev's like rise to, his first big push, where he eventually lost to Cena. But when he beat Sheamus, he put him in the acolyte and he made him pass out. And I was just kind of like, man, just make Sheamus tap out. I feel like that's more like even more impressive. Like they were trying to save Sheamus's aura, which I get, but I'm like, you should really push this Rusev guy and make Sheamus tap out. But now we've come full circle. So they're both not in a better place, but at least, hey, Rusev just had a big win in a match. People were kind of like, it'll be hard hitting, but it really delivered. It was definitely way harder hitting than like a Donnybrook you would see on Raw. Like, when they do those, like, oh, it's the Halloween street fight or the holiday street fight. And it's just kind of like whack. Like you might get a couple table spots and it's just kind of like the face always wins. Like somebody puts a pumpkin on somebody's head. Like it's kind of just played out. This was way better than that. I think it really delivered, especially because I wanted to see something like Extreme Rules when Luke Harper took on Dean Ambrose. They started out the night and then they ended up like driving off and they finished the match right before the main event. Like I was looking for something like that, which I think would have worked, but I thought this was awesome too. Like, so no complaints there. On to off to John Cena. Oh geez, I'm about to break something. Am I really going to break this? Nope. Okay, I'm good. Nope. But, oh wow. Yeah, I did break it. All right, so yeah, here we go. The Starry Night Lego set. You saw they were doing Starry Night tonight, and we got Logan Paul and John Cena. They had a match. It was very good. My complaint is like I don't mind that John Cena is having one of his final matches on his retirement tour against Logan Paul. I mean, this was rumored to be an option for WrestleMania. I'm glad they didn't. My issue is that they shared the ring together and like had moves against each other in the Royal Rumble. So that's one match they were in together. Same thing in the Elimination Chamber. So that's 2 matches. Then they had the PLE at what was it, Money in the Bank, where whatever, it might have been Money in the Bank. I don't remember, but it was John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. So that's 3 matches now. And I understand that Logan Paul wasn't the original choice, that they wanted to do what the hell's his name? Travis Scott, and that didn't work out. So they pivoted. But still, that's 3 matches. Then after SummerSlam, they did John Cena and Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. So that's 4 matches. And now we're getting the 5th match. So in John Cena's last year of wrestling, I just named 5 matches. Besides those matches, he had the WrestleMania match with Cody Rhodes. He had the Randy Orton match. He had the CM Punk match. He had the R-Truth match. Did he have a second R-Truth match? I know there was something up with that. I don't remember if it was actually a match or not, but there was an altercation. So let's just say Logan Paul on this last year retirement tour has been in half of Cena's matches. That didn't need to happen. Like, get rid of at least one of those tag matches. So that kind of bummed me out. This was the match that also did a lot of more like stealing of moves, and they even called it like Logan Paul. And it is a good match, I will say that, but there was too many using other people's moves, in my opinion. Logan Paul used the zigzag. They called it that. John Cena. What else? John Cena used the end of days. They didn't call it that. They called it a modified flatliner, which is weird because I'm pretty sure WWE has the copyright for end of days. That name. It's not Baron Corbin. He doesn't own it. What's his name now? It doesn't matter. It does, but I don't want to get hung up. I want to keep moving. John Cena hit the Styles Clash. I didn't mind that just because, one, they talked about it's him and Styles have a great history, a great rivalry, and two, the last time they were in they weren't in Paris, France last year for Backlash. They were in some other part of France, and they the 5-star match between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. So it's a fun reference, nod to that. So I didn't mind that at all, but everything else was just like there was too many stealing of moves. But the great story about this match is that like I think they really told it that if Logan Paul was more focused, if Logan Paul was just about getting the job done, then he probably could have won this match. But he's too invested in the crowd, in himself, the narcissism, and the crowd really ate it up too. Like I like how he interacted with one kid positively, because it's like I feel like all the adults hate Logan Paul, and it's the kids that like Logan Paul. So Logan Paul will be like a heel. He'll have heel antics. He'll talk down to the crowd. But if he sees a kid with prime, or he sees a kid with his sign, he'll acknowledge the kid. And if it ever comes up, he can just be like, bro, like, I'm trying, like, that if I hang out with that kid, he's going to buy how many more bottles of prime? If I don't, he's going to stop buying prime. So, like, I know who to tailor to, and I think, so I like that about him. And there's plenty of things I don't like about him, but this was a good match, and I think it was worth being on John's retirement tour, even on a PLE. Again, I just wish he didn't have 4 matches that involved Logan Paul before this 5th match. That bothers me. I want to see John Cena versus Dirty Dom. I want to see John Cena versus Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa. I want to see John Cena versus Joe Hendry, which I don't think we're going to get. But I would think it'd be interesting. Like, it did come to mind tonight. What if Dominic Mysterio loses the IC title to AJ Styles, and John Cena's last match is against AJ Styles for the IC title, and we see if he can win the Grand Slam? I know the 17 world titles were more important than the Grand Slam, but he's already done 17. What else can he do? Like, he could do 18. It's like, that's kind of redundant and ridiculous in my opinion. I'd rather see him have an awesome match with AJ Styles, because we know AJ Styles can do it. He had the 5-star match just last year. I think that would be a great final match, win or lose for John. Another one I want to see, John Cena versus Braun Breaker, or John Cena versus Sami Zayn. So I want to see him with young talent that he hasn't faced off before, or guys who really need the rub. Again, I wouldn't mind AJ Styles. I could handle that. But we'll just see where it goes from here. I guess you just got to enjoy it for what it is. And again, like I said, this is an enjoyable match, despite, my issues. All right, we're going to go to the main event. Main event was good. I don't know what to tell you. It's good. The big cliffhanger thing is at the end. It was okay. I'll go towards the end. LA Knight goes to do an elbow drop onto the table against Seth Rollins. Jey Uso interferes, giving Seth Rollins enough time to get out of the way, so LA Knight crashes and burns. They go back into the ring. LA Knight is still on the outside. Jey Uso eats a go to sleep from CM Punk. CM Punk eats a stomp from Rollins. Kicks out. Rollins goes to the outside. He stomps LA Knight. He stomps Jey Uso. He goes to stomp Punk again with his head caught in the chair, misses. Punk hits the GTS. Seth Rollins bounces off the ropes and lands on Punk's shoulders again. Punk smirks. He's going to give him another GTS, but someone in black gives him a low blow. And it's just someone like who just looks so skinny, and you just know it's Becky Lynch, and it ends up being Becky Lynch. And it's fine, because I forgot to mention that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed got banned from the main event, banned from the building after what they did to Roman Reigns. So it was kind of like a fine ending. It wasn't super creative or anything, like the big reveal as it was. I didn't thoroughly enjoy that. But overall, as a show, it was pretty good. I think, yeah, like I liked watching it. Again, the women's match was a big letdown, and it stinks because there's only one of those. But what are you going to do? Overall, it was a decent show, I would say. I do think I would like their butts to the fire a little bit more. I like when they're more creative and more willing to take risks, because it feels like they're just kind of going with just like they'll go through like one meeting, it feels like, and they're like, okay, so this will work. Okay, yeah, that's good enough, and just like they just go with it. It's like, nah, really, make people like ready to pay that $30 for every monthly PLE, because right now it's these aren't cutting it for if you had to pay $30 a month, like maybe SummerSlam, but yeah, that's all. Sorry, this pod's a little short today. I have to eat some dinner. It's been a long day. It was actually a long show. I was not expecting it to go as long as it did. It had 6 matches, but it was like, I think like a 4-hour show. It was pretty long. Other little notes. John Cena saw the kid that he trashed in Germany again. Much better this time. He was on SmackDown, and I thought it was awkward because the kid had the phone, and like this time they're just fucking embrace John Cena. Like, look him eye in the eye. Don't be looking at the phone. Nobody be looking at their phones. All right. Just live in the moment. And that's what they did. It was great. He didn't get the autograph from John Cena. He definitely asked too late, but I hope he got it once the cameras stopped rolling. Because, he didn't ask for it like during the filming, which I appreciate. But and John Cena like kissed his wife in the front row. Thought that was really nice, just because you do see her at stuff, but he's also like very protective over her, it's nice. Like, he's very chivalrous. From what I've seen, like on TV and in person, that's the way he is. But it's cool that like she's there to like kind of watch and see the spectacle that he is in person. Because I don't know that I know how they met, but I don't know what familiarity she has with pro wrestling and WWE. I have no idea. I haven't looked that up. So who knows? This might have been like one of her first shows or whatever. Her first shows ringside. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. Overall, good show. Let us know what you think. I'm sorry, this is a short pod. Doing what I can. We should be covering Raw tomorrow, and who knows what after that. Any local shows you think we should check out in New York coming up, let us know. I don't have anything on my schedule, not until October 10th. That'll be Friday, October 10th. That's Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. But I know I'm trying to go to House of Glory on October 10th. The Hardys will be there. Matt Cardone will be there, and Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux will be there. So I'm trying to go to Comic-Con and then go to that show afterwards. We'll see if it works out. And we'll keep you posted on that. All right. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Remember to watch wrestling. Follow us. Mark It Down Pod on Instagram. We're on X. We're on Facebook. We're on it all. And let me get to the I gotta get to the oh god, where's the ending? I gotta do boo about that. Bye.